So I'm recording. Hello, Matthew, joining us. And I think I said hello to everybody else. If I missed somebody, hello to everybody. And if you haven't done so already, go ahead and put your hellos or hi or bonjours or hello in Russian or whatever in the chat. Okay, I'm here at the high school, computer literacy. I was going through doing some grading last night. Most people got their work in. Most people are doing things correctly. That's great. A few people, whatever reason, didn't have some things in. So I usually put some question marks or I say, what's up? Now, I realize sometime when I do that, because I'm doing that for everybody, there might be one or two students who just joined us in the last week or two. So you might be a little behind for good reason. So don't take it personally. A lot of times I'm just going through boom, 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 knocking out a bunch of stuff. So I may not always remember if someone just joined us a week ago, which one or two people did, I think. But either way, I'm going to go to I'm going to share the screen here. Computer literacy. Okay. I think you guys see that. If you miss a Zoom, I put the recording up yesterday. Okay. So if you miss a Zoom, the recording is there. I always put the links up here to come in there. I think that's usually the same one I always use, but want to make sure. Okay, what's going on this week that I haven't talked about yet? Well, a couple of things. Um, One thing I put up here, I can't remember if I talked about this or not, but I'm just asking if you guys have the ability to add video. Now, since you all have, to my knowledge, school issued Windows laptops, they all can edit video. They may not be great at it, but they can edit video. So basically, you all should have capability to add video, whether you know it or not. But beside the school issue laptop, do you have any other capability? So if you have a Windows computer other than the school laptop, it probably can add video. If you don't already have video software on it, you can download some for free. If you have a Mac computer, voila, that's that's what we do here at school. I got a Mac lab, and it comes with iMovie, which is really great software for beginners, and you already got that. If you have a smartphone, either Android or iPhone, you got another device you could shoot and edit video. Not one you can not only edit video, but you can shoot video. Okay, in most cases. I can't think of, there might be some exception. I don't know every phone in the Android world, but as far as I know, most, if not all, Android phones and definitely all iPhones can shoot video, shoot very nice video and edit video, not to mention photos and do things like that. So if you have that capability, put that in there. And if you got some other capability, maybe you have an iPad, they can do really good with video for shooting and editing. Maybe you have a video camera. Maybe you got some, whatever computer you got, maybe you got some other software you've used before or something. I'd be interested to know, because I do hope to do some video in this class. I did last semester with the online students. And we're talking stuff that's fairly easy to do, so it's not going to be real hard. So that was just a little question I have you do, so you just answer it. Teens and social media. There's a lot of information out there all the time about teens and social media. To be fair, most of the time it focuses on problems and negative things, but there obviously are a lot of positive things about social media. So it's not necessarily all bad, but you want to be a little bit careful about lots of things. Um, and also want to be careful about what you say, because it's really easy, whether it be social media or emails or texting, to say things that you probably wouldn't say to somebody's face. So a good real rule of thumb, if you're angry at somebody or having a problem, is stop and think, would I say this to that person's face? And if the answer is no, then you probably shouldn't send it or share it or post it. Another thing is if something's inappropriate, using swear words or whatever it may be, stop and think about that too. That can come back and haunt you. And yes, people do judge, and they judge harshly. And you don't want something to come back that could hurt some opportunity in the future for you. And of course, be very careful of anything you share as far as photos or videos or anything like that. It can get you in big trouble and or embarrass and or whatever. So, there's a lot of issues relating to teens and social media you need to be aware of. So I have a little assignment here, and I think you'll find it hopefully interesting. And you open this here up, and then you just watch the videos and do this assignment. It's not that hard if you follow along here. And for most students, this is pretty easy assignment. If you fall into one of the categories where this might be a little challenging for you, my best advice is say, do your best. Do the best you can on it. It's way, way, way better to do your best and have it be imperfect than to turn nothing in at all. Okay. So I want to encourage you to just do your best. And if you got questions, you can always text me or email me or something, and I'd be happy to answer. Okay. Google Photos. I'm going to jump to that one next. This is an assignment about Google Photos. Okay. It's an assignment to learn about what Google Photos is. You got a video here, 14 minutes. It's not very long, about Google Photos. And you got this assignment here where you answer questions from the video. Okay. So it's not hard to do. Go through it. And again, do your best. If you miss one or something, if you can't find it and you make a good faith effort, just put down, I can't find it. But in most cases, they should be pretty easy to find. And Google Photos is really nice because, let's be honest, most of us take pictures. We need to organize our pictures somewhere. If your software, your camera's not already set to back up to Google Photos, it's not hard to do. I do it with my iPhone. Excuse me. I have my iPhone set to back up to Google Photos, which is free. And with our school account, it's kind of unlimited too. So I got some hiccups here. And because I have Apple, I have iPhone, I have a service I actually pay for called iCloud. So I get storage and I can back up to iCloud. So I back up to both. Why do I back up to both? Well, one is I wanted the iCloud anyway because I use it with other Apple stuff that I do. So I already have that built into the mix of things I do. And then when I found out about Google Photos, preparing for lessons like this in the past, I decided, no, I'm going to look into this and give it a try. And I thought, I got nothing to lose to set my phone to back up to Google Photos also for free. So I do that. And you need to have somewhere where you organize your photos and they're backed up in the cloud. And the reason is simple. If you just back up on your computer or leave them just on the phone that you have in your hand, something happens, the phone gets lost or broken, or your computer gets lost or broken, you could lose all your treasured photos. Or if they're backed up in the cloud through Google Photos or some other service like Apple's Photos, then hopefully, they do quite a good job backing that stuff up. You can always have access to them. The other advantage is, say you got a bunch of photos in there and you jump around different computers and different devices, well, you can access it from anywhere. So I can get to my Google Photos from any of my computers or my iPad or my phone. I can do the same thing with the Apple one that I have. So that's really nice and convenient when you need to find your pictures or share them. So Google Photos is a great software. It's part of the Google apps for education. And I recommend using it to at least back up pictures and put pictures in. And there are other features in there too. So that's why we do that. It's not just a lesson, but I think it's good skills to learn and something important. The Google Boys. I don't know if I talked much about this yesterday, but just to share a little bit about it, it focuses on Google and the founding of Google, which is an amazing story. And it's got some similarities to some of the other stories, such as the Apple story. In the case of Apple and Google, they both start out in a garage, literally. They both start out with two guys working together, and they have a vision of what they want to do. In the case of Google, in the 1990s, just to rewind history a little bit here, the internet was opened up to the general public in 1992. So that means before that, regular people like you and me were not on the internet. Only scientists and government officials and some business people and that were on the internet. The other thing that happened beside it opening up is the World Wide Web was developed. So the web came out at that around the same time, and you had web pages, websites, web browsers, and so forth. And the early web started with almost nothing, just a few sites here and there, and very quickly started adding more and more and more and more sites and more users and more information. Well, the problem was in the early web, search was not very good. If you put in whatever search term you're looking for, you might have got all kind of search results that had little or nothing to do with what you wanted for all kind of reasons I won't go into right now. So search was very, very bad. Actually, the company that was best at it in the 90s before Google was Yahoo. And what Yahoo was doing, because search was so bad, they literally hired people that sat in offices and they would look up the best sites on different topics. And when you went to Yahoo in those days, you would literally click like, I'm interested in photography. And somebody at Yahoo put together the best 50 or 100 sites about photography. Then you might say, I'm interested in buying a car. So somebody at Yahoo literally put together a list of good sites if you're going to buy a car. That's how primitive things were. Then Larry and Sergey. Larry Page grew up in Michigan. His parents were professors at Michigan State University. And Sergey Brin was originally born in Russia. His family moved to the U.S. when he was young. And his parents were professors in Maryland. And he grew up in Maryland. And they both ended up at Stanford Graduate School, which is the main university out by Silicon Valley in California. And it's also got one of the best computer science programs in the world. And they both were graduate students, meaning they already had a bachelor degree. Larry Page went to University of Michigan. Sergey went to University of Maryland. And then they both did really well in school, really top students in computer science. And they went to Stanford to get a PhD. Well, when they met there, it was in the mid 90s, about 95 or so. And they both had an interest in search. And they knew search was really bad. And they both were like, I want to work on search. So besides just doing it for their classes, which is probably how it started, they decided, well, when they first started developing their ideas, they tried to sell their ideas to Yahoo and other companies. And the company said, no, we don't want to buy your ideas. So they decided, well, if no one's going to buy our ideas, let's open up our own business. And they started literally in a garage with some computers and whatever they could figure out. And their search started small, but then it started working and working better, and more people got involved and started getting publicity, and eventually got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Well, one of the big challenges was the other companies doing search didn't really like it that much because there wasn't a lot of money to be made in search as they thought. But Google figured out through some brilliant thinking how to make money with targeted advertising. So if I'm doing a search for I want to buy a lawnmower, ads can come up that are not only about buying lawnmowers, but they might be about buying a lawnmower in Battle Creek, Michigan. Okay. Because you don't want an ad popping up, buy a lawnmower in Arkansas. Okay. I want an ad popping up for the local lawnmower dealer, one of them. So if you're a local lawnmower dealer, you would go on Google as a customer or as someone that wants to buy advertising on Google, but you don't want you to pay for ads. They're going to go all over to everybody that don't care about buying your lawnmower. You want your ads to go to people looking for things like, I want to buy a lawnmower. Or if you're a John Deere dealer, you want people looking up John Deere lawnmowers. So there's a way you can go in there and put in the key terms and searches and stuff that you want, and then you pay money, and it's based on clicks and things like that. So that was brilliant because now people could, I'm going to buy an ad. So when someone does a search, my ad comes up. Now, Google had the idea that, okay, we want to sell advertising, but we don't want to trick anybody. If we want the ads to be separate from the search itself. So if you do a search to buy a lawnmower, you get the search itself, which is not paid for. Or if it is paid for, if there's a few slots that come up, they're labeled ad. Okay, so that's paid for. And needless to say, this took off. They started making tons of money. And then with that money, beside doing search and advertising, they bought the company that they bought Android, and they bought it. I can't remember the exact year, but they didn't come out with the first Android phones till after the iPhone came out. So Apple accused the Android and Google of copying the iPhone, which they probably did to some extent. Just like Apple accused Microsoft of copying the Mac operating system with Windows, which they did. It came out several years later and they did copy it. And there was a big lawsuit over that. But back to Google. This doesn't do the current story of Google so much, but it does more the startup story, which is a fascinating story. And there are some questions that go with it. So you open up these questions here, you watch the video, and you go through it and do the best you can answering these questions. It's not that hard. Okay. So that's going to be another assignment. And of course, later Google went on to buy other things and do all kinds of other stuff. So that's the Google story. That's Google Photos. This one you do on your own, teens and social media. Don't forget to finish up your slides. That's left over from last week. So don't forget to get that done. That should have that done by tomorrow. If you can get it done today, it's even better. And once you got the slides out of the way, which is the biggest project right now, the rest of it's not that hard. And I think I went over pretty much all the slides already. Did a lot of that yesterday. So that's it. Get your slides done by tomorrow. Then by Thursday, get the teens and social media done, if not before then. Same with Google Photos. And then your Google Boy documentary, if it's not done by Friday, then do it on Friday. And that's pretty much it as far as I can think of right here. Does anybody have any questions about anything? I'm going to go out of the this here. Yep, the Google story is a fascinating story, and Larry and Sergey are interesting people. They're brilliant, but like a lot of brilliant people, they're a little bit strange, especially Larry. But you know, they did do some amazing things. They're only worth like $40 billion each. I'm not joking. That's about what they're worth, somewhere around there. So, but they do good with their money. They donate things and stuff. And I'm sure none of you would want to work at Google, because let me just explain real quick and then we'll be done. Say you get hired at Google to be like a programmer to write software. So you get there and you have a dog. So they say, why don't you bring your dog into work? We even got people that help take care of it and groom it and stuff like that. Or you can have the dog lay by your feet while you program. Wow, who'd want that? Then let's say you're in the middle of hard work programming, your neck gets a little sore and that, looking at the computer screen, and you decide to go down the hall and get a free massage. You would not want that, I'm sure. Then let's say it's lunchtime, you go down in cafeteria, there's all kinds of chef-made, gourmet, healthy foods to choose from and drinks and whatever, and it's all free every day. And let's say you got your laundry and you bring your dirty laundry to work and you drop it off and they clean it for you for free. Why would Google do all this? Why would they give you free food and let you bring your dog in and give you a free massage and free lunch and everything? Well, they want you to come in and work and keep working and do a good job. And of course, to get in there is not easy. They hire among the most brilliant programmers they could find. But that's a little idea of what Google's like. So that's about it. Work on the assignments, prioritize, try and knock out at least one per day. And, you know, put on some music while you're working on like the slides, for example, enjoy that. And then the videos aren't that hard. Just if you got two different screens or one really big screen, you have two different windows. That's probably the best way to do that. So you can watch the video in one window or screen and then do the assignment in the other. So, well, that's about it. So thank you for joining us, Sarita and Hanson and Aiden and Colin and Matthew and Tyler and Cassidy. Take care, everybody. Get out and enjoy that 34 degrees. Yep, take care. Aiden and Colin and Cassidy and Hanson and Matt and everybody. Okay. See ya. I'm going to be ending this. Dos Finania. Ciao.